Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create my new elevation bracelet. I really like this bracelet. It's kind of unique. Once you make it, you'll see that like the middle here kind of like pops up. It's kind of like two bracelets in one. The middle like sits kind of on top of the bottom one. But yeah, so to make this bracelet, you do need approximately 90 bands depending on your wrist size. You can actually flip it over and wear it on the reverse side as well, like that. This band can be made using single bands or double bands. This one is the single banded version. And here is my double banded version, which I absolutely love. I think it is super cool. I will also be doing a tutorial on this one, but I feel like it's a little bit easier to do it with the single band, so I'm going to show you that way first, and then we can go ahead and do the double banded so you already know how to do the process. So let's go ahead and get started. For the bracelet, you will need one loom, your hook, and one C-clip. And today I will be alternating between yellow, teal, and gray. Gray is going to be my border, and yellow and teal are going to be my middle colors. The way you want your loom set up is like the way I have mine. You want your two bar pins in a stagger position, and you're only going to need 2 pin bars. So I did remove the backward just to get it out of my way, and we're going to be working with these 5 pins right here. So it's kind of like in the shape of a W. As long as they're in that shape, it doesn't matter which pins you use. And I like to have my arrows facing to the right direction. It makes my hooking a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with laying our border band. So you're going to want to grab 2 of your border bands. In my case, it's gray. We're going to lay one of those bands from this pin here to this pin here straight across like that. And we're going to lay one right next to it in the same way. Now we need to pull these bands down onto the pins in front of it. So we're going to go on this left side grabbing the back band. And we're going to pull it down to the left, and then we're going to twist it to the right, but onto the pin so that it makes like a twist like that. Do the same to the right side. Grab the very back band, pulling it to the bottom left, and then twist it to the right onto the pin, just like that. Go ahead and push those down. And now we can go ahead and lay one of our colored bands, which is going to be in the middle. This pin here will always be for the middle of the bracelet, the part that like pops up, and then this back here will be our border colors. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this one here in a infinity sign type shape. So go ahead and put it on there, and you're going to just twist it like that. Now we're going to lay 2 bands in the back, which again will be my gray. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did here in the front. I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. And I'm just going to twist it on like an infinity sign. Or a sideways 8. Doing the same from here to here. And you should now have 2 layers. And we're going to go ahead and do the hooking step. So we're going to go ahead and start in the bottom left corner. Grabbing that very bottom band, which should be gray. And you're just going to bring it up and over to the middle. Doing the same on the right side, grabbing that bottom band, bringing it up and over. And now we're going to come back to these 3 pins. You can keep it facing yourself and kind of lean it forward to grab these bands, because all these bands are going to be brought up and over this way. Or you can do this and turn it around so the arrows are pointing to the left. And you can do it that way, whatever is easier for you. But so we are now on this middle pin, the back middle pin, and we need to loop 2 bands on this one. All the rest of them are 1 band. This one will be alternating between 2 bands and 1 band throughout the bracelet. So right now we're going to do these 2 bottom ones. Grab both of those bottom 2 bands, and you're just going to bring it up and over, bringing it forward like that. And now we can go ahead and loop the bottom pins on the left and right. Grabbing just that very bottom band. Also doing it on the left bottom band. Pushing that down. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my loom back around so it's facing in the right direction. And I'm going to go ahead and lay on my next band. So from this point on, we're going to be alternating the way we lay our bands. Right now I'm going to grab my yellow and I'm going to lay a triangle across all 3 of these bands. Like that. Now we can go ahead and do the hooking step again. Grabbing the bottom band, bringing it up and over on that left pin. Now on the right side, bring it up and over. And now we have to loop this back middle one. Every time we loop this middle one, following us laying the triangle, so after we lay the triangle and we go to loop, there will always be 2 bands on this one coming up and over. So I'm going to turn it around again so you guys can see. And mine's kind of like mixed up right here. This yellow should be on top, so I'm just going to fix that first. So my grays are on the bottom. There we go. So now we want to bring these 2 bands up and over. So just grabbing both of those bands, if I can get a hold of them, and bring them up and over like that. And just push those down. I'm going to turn it back around. Arrows pointing to the right. And if you kept your loom in this position when you looped that, you would just be grabbing the 2 bottom bands and bringing it up and over towards yourself, like bringing them forward. Alright, so let's go ahead and lay another set of bands. I'm going to go ahead and grab my border bands, which is gray, going from the left to the right like that in the back, doing another one right next to it. And now I'm going to lay another color in the front here. Since I have yellow on here last time, I'm going to go back to my teal color, like that. And now we can do the hooking step again. So we're going to grab the bottom left band, bring it up and over. Now going to the right side, bringing that up and over. And now we have to do this middle one. Now we did not lay a triangle this time. Since we just laid 3 separate bands, there will only be 1 band coming up and over on that middle pin this time. So I'm just going to like lean it forward without turning it around. It's a little easier for me. So I'm just going to grab that very bottom band and I'm going to bring it up and over like that. If it's easier for you to turn it around to do it, that's fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the left and right, grabbing the bottom bands on both sides and just bringing it up and over. Now we're going to lay one of our triangle bands again. So I'm going to grab a yellow. And I'm going to lay a triangle around all 3 bands, or pins. And now we can go ahead and loop again. So I'm going to grab the very bottom band, bringing it up and over on both front pins here. And now we need to do this back middle pin. And remember, we're grabbing 2 bands this time because we've laid our triangle. So I'm grabbing the 2 bottom bands and bringing them up and over. Now we can go ahead and lay our border bands again. Going from the left to the right. And I'm going to lay another teal one in the front here. And now we can go ahead and do the hooking step again. Grabbing the very bottom band. Bringing it up and over. And now I'm going to go to the back here. Grabbing that very bottom band. Bringing it up and over. I keep bumping my camera. Sorry about that. And now go ahead and hook the sides. The bottom band coming up and over. Pushing those down. And now we're going to lay a triangle. Going across all 3 of the middle pins. Grabbing the bottom band on the front. Going up and over. Now going to the back. And again, it's going to be 2 bands. I'm just going to turn it around just in case anyone's confused. See, we have these 2 bottom bands. So we're going to be bringing them up and just lifting them over that pin in front of it. I'm going to turn it back around. And that's what it should look like. Just going to push that down and lay more of my border bands. Like so. grabbing a teal for the front since I'm alternating. And we can go ahead and hook again, grabbing the bottom band, bringing it up and over. Grabbing the bottom band on this back middle pin, bringing it up and over. And now doing my sides, up and over. Now I'm starting to get a little jumbled in here. So if you have a rainbow loom, you can kind of just use your hook and just like push it in. Or you can use your fingers and just kind of push it down so that it can be long enough for you to grab it at the bottom and just give it a little bit of a pull. And you can just let it continue to grow down through that middle. If you do not have a rainbow loom, you can just kind of let it go out to the side, coming to the left or the right. You may even be able to just push it out the back. I haven't tried to do that way, but I'm sure you can bring it out to either side. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep on with this pattern a few times to make sure you guys, get the hang of it. You just basically want to make sure that you're alternating between laying your center triangle band and then remembering to bring those two bands up and over this pin when you lay after you lay that triangle. That's like the most important part. And then of course you're going to alternate going back to laying the 3 separate bands like this. And remember, every time you have these bands laid, there's only one band coming up and over on that back one. Like that. And then we can bring our back sides up and over. And just continue on with that pattern until you have reached the desired length of your bracelet. So like I just mentioned before, I'm going to go ahead and just do this process a few times, just in case you have not caught on. So go ahead and just keep watching if you don't know how to do it at this point. And if you do, you can go ahead and fast forward. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I am going to be doing a tutorial on the double band version, which is certainly like my favorite out of the two. I just think it looks so cool. But I wanted to show you guys the single way first, just because I know that the fact that we have to switch from laying or from hooking 2 bands and then going back to 1 band, I know that can get a little confusing, and I certainly don't want to, make it confusing on you guys. So hopefully doing this bracelet first will make it easier to make that bracelet. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the length of my bracelet off of camera, and then we can meet back here at the end and I will show you how to close it up together. If you do not know how to do the hooking process yet, please go ahead and rewind and watch the previous instructions, and we will meet back up here when I have reached the desired length of my bracelet. Okay guys, so I have gone ahead and completed the length of my bracelet. So now we're going to go ahead and get it closed up together. I do want to make sure that everyone ends on the correct bands. So as you can see here right now, I only have 1 teal here in the front, and then just my 2 borders in the back. So the next band that I should be laying is a triangle. So I'm going to lay my yellow like that, because this is the last band that you want to make sure is laid, is your triangle. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the hooking step one more time, bringing it up and over these front 2 pins. Remember going in the back, and remember you got to grab the 2 bottom bands and bring those up and over. And at this point you should have only 1 band on all 5 of your pins, just 1 single band. So if your bracelet looks, or your loom looks like this, we can go ahead and get it closed up. So we're going to go ahead and actually grab this bottom right corner here. We're going to carefully slide that off of the pin and stretch it up to this upper left corner like that. And now we're going to take this middle one and we're going to do the same thing, bringing it to this upper right corner. Be very careful not to lose your bands. So we're going to carefully remove that from the pin, and you're going to just stretch it over, like up, and then just bringing it back on to the pin, just like that. Now we're going to bring this bottom left one up, bringing it up to that pin as well, and just push them down a little bit. And now for the last one, we're going to stretch this left one over. It's going to get kind of loose, so just be very careful. And just place that right on top like that. I'm going to turn it around so you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is exactly what your pin should look like. And now I'm going to take one of my border bands, which is gray, and I'm going to go inside this pin here with my hook. Make sure you have 1 band. Go in this pin, pushing your hook out, because we're going to need to grab it with our hook like that, and hold on to the other side of the band with your finger. I like to turn my hook a little bit, and we're going to slide that band up through that pin like that, so it's around all the bands, and go ahead and hook the other side that you were holding onto the pin like that. And then I like to slide it down, because these 2 bands are what we're going to put our C-clip on. You can put the C-clip on while it's on here like that, or you can just pop it off like that, and you can just apply the C-clip like that, which is what I like to do. So I'm going to grab my C-clip, and I'm just going to pop that on there, making sure you're around both of those bands, and carefully slide your hook out like that. And just give your bracelet a little tug. And now go ahead and find the other end of your bracelet and find the loosest bands at the end here, and go ahead and just clip them on like so. There you go. And there you have my new elevation bracelet. So I really don't think that it's too hard once you get the hooking process down. I actually really like this bracelet. I know it may look similar at first glance to some other ones, but it's definitely not the same. It is different. Again, I love how like the middle pops up here. So yeah. And then remember, you can flip it over for the back side. And I actually do like this color combo. I've never used it before, but I think it looks pretty cool. So I hope you guys like this as well. If this video helped you out, or you like this bracelet as much as I do, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you have not done so already, please hit the subscribe button below. And just keep an eye out, because I will be making a tutorial on this with the double band. So just keep an eye out for that. And thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you next time. Bye.